I still remember that day when I had failed, to that call from my university when the principal of the university called my dad on a landline. Those were the days of landline. And he called up and that your son has topped our university and he is Karnataka second. So, but whatever I am and whatever I have been doing and whatever I'll be doing is because of these influences. And he always tells me that hear every single line of this song. Because every time you lie and every time you build up on that story, it will harm you somewhere the other way. It's a lot about karma, the entire song. Na hathi hai, na goda hai. Yahan to paidal hi jana hai.
Wow, amazing.
The kind of forum that I am blessed with in terms of this mentors and friends in my life is my personal board of directors. Whatever I do is after a lot of reflection with them, a lot of brainstorming with them. So, mere liye success is my network. And that network is today a huge part of the net worth I have in my life. Entrepreneurship में सबसे important चीज़ is to have your own USP and master that USP. कि वो अगर चीज़ चाहिए तो किसी और के पास नहीं जा सकते, इसके पास ही जाना पड़े.
Chiranjiv Patel, sir. Welcome to Unboxed. Thank you so much for your time and thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for inviting me to this beautiful place.
You are known by many names, but as I like to call you, I'm going to address you as Chief throughout this interview.
You have a special privilege to do that.
That's very kind of you. But the idea of Unboxed is to tell your story, tell your journey to the world, and hopefully provide some value to the viewers, the listeners. And I don't think anybody else has such a vivid, enriching journey and story as you do. So I'm very keen on listening to your story and looking forward to this interview. Let's start with initial thoughts. How are you feeling these days? What's the vibe?
Oh, the vibe is brilliant. Life is back to normal. I feel we all as human beings are blessed because those days during March 20th or 2020 or April 2020, none of us even imagined in those first 60 days that slowly life could come back to normal and we could actually, be where we used to be and travel like before and meet people like before and gather in large gatherings like before. And that is all happening and it's in front of us. So every morning I wake up, I actually thank God for bringing this to humanity.
Let's begin with your personal journey. Okay, you grew up in Ahmedabad, right? And then if I tell your story to someone else without your name, it is unbelievable, right? You grew up in an Ahmedabad, and I assume that it was an ordinary, typical Ahmedabadi upbringing, right? What happened? How did Chiranjiv Patel, the normal Ahmedabadi kid, became the Chiranjiv Patel?
I'm still the normal Ahmedabadi kid, and I'm still in Ahmedabad only, Parth. But what has happened is that what you could tell people is that someone who was completely written off by everyone in the society or people or family or everyone, and at a stage where even my parents lost hope after trying everything, and I failed in my 12th standard, and I belong to a very education oriented family. There's a lot of social pressure about studying and achieving and getting the degrees because my dad and uncle both have been masters of civil engineering and they have worked and they've started their journey in 70s as a startup, starting from scratch absolutely and growing from there till where they were, and suddenly to actually see everyone else in the family get degrees and someone becoming a doctor, someone becoming an engineer, and you know how those days were. And we had those 4 top fields where you are supposed to be either you get into civil, you get into chemical, mechanical, electrical or computers. This is all the world is. और अगर ये हो गया तो आपका लड़का एकदम बहुत अच्छा है, बहुत ब्रिलियंट है, इंजीनियरिंग में एडमिशन ले लिया, और नहीं हुआ तो then you are this. नहीं होना तो एक बाजू था, मैं तो फेल हो गया था. तो that was, a very strong changing point in my life, where there was a day that I was completely alone. When I still remember when the news came, how much I cried, how much everyone else was crying. And then when I finally went into my room and I had locked the room, I was like, dude, what now? Where do I go from here?
So if you were not a good student, then what were you good at?
So I wouldn't say I wasn't a good student. The skills I possess now, the soft skills or whatever you might call them, they were getting nurtured day by day in my schooling career. I might not be academically good, but even if you go back and ask my teachers or my colleagues or my friends who've been my school friends, they'll always say that there was something. And they still say that we knew you're going to make it wherever you are in life. Whatever you've done, we knew that this is going to happen. So, whether you could be an instinct towards leading a few initiatives in the school or colleges, creating great festivals, creating new programs, going out in sports, creating teams, leading them, and bringing the changes, going and in those days going to a school management or a college management and fighting for student rights or doing stuff like that was always there. And they were all positive impacts that I wanted to create. So they knew that there's nothing wrong. But it's just that academically, after a certain point of time, I felt that there's no point being in that rat race. And you all have that phases. Those were my, phase for those couple of particular years in 10th, 11th and 12th during the board exams. But like I said, when I failed in my 12th, I struggled hard for the next 2 months. Somehow that year, the new rule came in that you could reapply if you are failing in only 1 or 2 subjects. You could apply again after 2 months. I did that. I cleared it finally with decent on the line percentage where I could go in some part of the country and grab my admission. Grabbing the admission is another different story that I've always been sharing on different platforms, how those skills that I had cultivated and which were actually there naturally inside me helped me to grab that admission. And then it was no looking back academically, because I wanted to prove a point to my family, to my own self, that yes, I have to do this and there's no way. And I still remember that day when I had failed, to that call from my university when the principal of the university called my dad on a landline. Those were the days of landline. And he called up and that your son has topped our university and he's Karnataka second.
Oh, wow.
So that's how I have cleared my graduation.
Looking back at your childhood, how do you connect with your own son, Prayan?
So, like I said, all of us, including you or people in our times, were under a lot of pressure. There was a huge performance pressure, be it in terms of sports, be it in terms of academic, be it in terms of how you behave. There was so much. And that has made us to what we are. In today's generation, there's no pressure. The minute you start even trying to, tell your son to do a few things, it's really difficult for them. And you might have, my son just tells me, Dad, don't push me for doing this. Slide zara zyada push kar diya, then you're going to have to face a retaliation. That's how this generation is coming up. And with due respect to them, the positive side of this generation are on how you ask me how I deal with them is that they actually are our teachers in so many other ways. Prayan particularly is a son that I'm really proud of because, one, he's really innocent. He's such a clear, straight-hearted person. Whatever is in his heart, he will say it. He will not hitch in asking any questions if he feels anything like this. And you at times as parents get embarrassed when your kid is asking you questions in front of 20 people. But he will do that. And it's so nice, and we've never discouraged that. And that has actually made me learn that whatever is in your heart, you should express and you should ask, and there's no harm doing that. He in turn has learnt a lot in that process. He's seen me talk at various platforms and, do whatever I'm doing, my bit for the society. He also at this age has cultivated that today if you ask him, our son will say that I want to become a so-and-so, I want to become this in this field. My son always tells me something beautiful and I learn from him is that I want to be at a stage where I have enough money to give back to the society and make people more and more happy.
Wow.
And that's the motto I live my life with. And today he will answer you the same thing. So there's no bigger learning for me or no bigger happiness for me or, nothing that I can see, or expect from my son. That's all I have been wanting to live, and that's what he's also trying to imbibe from me. So it's a brilliant journey. And the funnier part with him is that, how we used to teach our parents about technology. Today he's becoming that technology teacher, because he'll come out every day and say, give me your phone and I'll teach you a new feature of Apple that I have learned. And this is something I've learned. Did you look about this app? It can get you this. So they're technologically so advanced with the kind of digital revolution taking place in front of them all the time, that they become your great teachers in various ways, not just lifestyle or values of life, but also technology and various other things.
How much do you see yourself in him? These are 5 things that he does, and I used to do the same 5 things.
So yes, I do see a lot of myself in him, but he is a combination of everyone in the family. He's so lucky that he's been brought up with a lot of culture and values from his grandparents also. He has been, so none of his holidays go without visiting temple or doing something. He is actively participating in all the festive preparations and everything that happens at home, whether it is the Ganeshji festival, or whether it is Janmashtami, or whether it is Navratri, or anything that happens. He is an active participation of all the puja and aartis that take place, or all the stuff that take place related to the religious requirements at home. So those values are there in him. He also has seen us living as a joint family together. Today we are blessed that, we stay with our grandmother, and we are 4 generations living in one house. So he has understood the concept of sharing space, of how the family works, how do everyone work. We are also very much blessed, and we also are quite close to the people. Our house staff and team is very, very close. They have been with us since more 40 years plus. Even before I was born, they have been there, and all of them have still been there in the house. So he learns how we respect them, how to address them, how to talk to them. So all these values are there, and that's where I see myself in him, because it's exactly what I have been brought up at every stage. I still remember when my dad used to take me to site, and I was playing with the laborers and their kids and all. I was never made to feel any different from those kids. And we used to play in the same sand on the banks of Sabarmati river, or those granules are there जिसको हम कपची बोलते हैं, वो उसमें हम बैठ के इतने टाइम तक खेलते थे. But they were actually treated at par as my friends, and I have still grown up them. They are also still working in my company, and I address them as friends only. So he sees all of this, and he's learning that. And whenever I see him do those things and respect the culture and the values that have come from the family, I see a lot of my part in him. But it is not just me, because it is the combination of values that all bring together. He also knows that, he cannot, no matter how successful dad or the family is, he has to work, because he sees his mom working day in, day out. So, that also has gone into him, that my dad and mom both go to office every day. They have their work commitments. Sometimes even if dad is free, mom is still busy, and mom is free, dad would be still busy. So he has adjusted to that culture, that nothing comes easy, nothing comes free, and he will have to, do that for himself.
Along with Prayan and rest of the family, another most important person in your life is your wife. And she is an amazing businesswoman, successful in her own domain. And how is it being married to a businesswoman?
It is great, actually. What it does is that you give a lot of space to each other, because both of you are somewhere busy. And the minute you get more space, you realize the importance of being together. So that's one big thing. That's an advantage. The another advantage is she's completely into a creative field. And somewhere or not, no matter whatever I do in my own life or the industries that I am associated with, I also have a lot of interest and passion in creativity, And that helps me to talk a lot with her, discuss a lot with her, brainstorm a lot with her. She'll still come to me every 3-4 months and says, you mentor the entire world and so many people and guide them. Why don't you have time for me? And we'll sit together, and then we'll strategize and plan, and we'll do that. So it's a lot of teamwork that we do together as a couple. Even when we travel, we know the importance of the holidays and the break that we are taking. So we really enjoy it together. So there are great advantages if you give each other space, if you understand what the other person is saying, no matter kitna bada kaam hai. Because what happens in other couples also, if you see that koi professional hai and they are doing a professional work, and the other is a business person who's working as an entrepreneur, as in different challenges. And sometimes they don't understand the challenges each of this industry has. or how big or small that is. So today I could be handling more than 300 employees in my company, and she has more than, around 20 employees in her company. But I have to understand that and respect that no matter what big or small, it cannot be compared. She has her own challenges. I have my own challenges. In fact, my bigger challenges would be a great learning lesson for her. And her small daily learnings could be a great learning for me as an entrepreneur. So we try and gel up together. We try and work as a team, and we actually work for each other's goals. That has really helped us to, understand. And I think any business people or any two people in today's world who are both working parents and stuff, if they work in this way, it will be really helpful to them.
So for example, I come from a non-business family, right? I come from a typical corporate working class family. And so I have seen my mom work her way through the top. But somebody who's going to get married, and
which you are very soon.
hopefully. Is there something that Indian men or Gujarati men have to change in order to have this great experience in the institution of marriage? Because being with a working woman is different, and we are not trained or habituated in that way.
I think a brilliant question. Brilliant question. This actually is what our generation needs today. And one word that not just men, but women together, if they are in a marriage, in today's time, they need to change is tolerance, patience, thoda sabar se. If we can get that into the marriage, institution of marriage with the current generation, things could be a lot better than what we are seeing. थोड़ा impatient हो जाते हैं, थोड़ा understanding ज़्यादा हो जाए, थोड़ी space एक दूसरे की समझ ले, then we will have great, change in terms of the entire marriage experience, as you call them.
So now I want to know more about influences on you, right? You have met some amazing people in your life, and apart from those people whom you have met, you have some amazing people in your life who are like constant. What are those influences? What has stayed with you, and what has made you a better person?
So, but whatever I am and whatever I have been doing and whatever I'll be doing is because of these influences. And I have not learnt, or the change in my life has not come from hearing speakers at the world level or platforms that I have been or I have been blessed with. I've heard everyone talk on various platforms. That's maybe something that has not brought change. What has brought change in me is interactions like this with people. And I have learned from various people at various stages. If you can say, how my dad has impacted my life and how his relationship, the entire love-hate relationship that we've had in my entire life. But he's absolutely one of the most amazing human beings that I'm blessed with or I love in my life. There's no word. At times you can't go to your dad because we have such a big wall that I've not been able to tell him that, okay, I love you so much. That's not possible. That's not how it works with me and him. But his influence has been amazing in my life.
But why is that? Why are we not good? Why don't we express our love to our fathers? Even I am in the same boat. We are sailing in the same boat. And it is so difficult to just embrace him, give him a tight hug.
He'll be shocked if I go and hug him just like that and say, hey, there's something really wrong.
Yeah. Because we often have this arguments. They don't understand, we don't understand, or we don't really try to understand. But when we are alone and we are introspecting, that's when we realize, ke, yaar, papa jordar to chhe.
Oh, absolutely. I'm telling you, the first name that I'll take as the biggest influence in my life is him. And he's amazing. His vision and stuff like that, even though he may use the worst words to warn me of something that he thinks that I'll be doing and something that might be happening. And I have seen in my life, if I have not paid heed to those words, somewhere or the other way, I have actually suffered those challenges in my life. And then I realize that it has happened.
So true. So true.
But I'm changing that with Prayan. I don't miss a day if I'm here and if I'm with him. Every time that I see him, every evening, I will hug him, cuddle him, kiss him. He doesn't like me doing that. But I don't miss out on those chances of doing it. I still want to hug him and sleep and do whatever I can, play as much as I can with him, and develop that friendship bond. And I still tell him jokingly that no matter how old you grow, I'm going to hug and kiss you the same way. Even if you have girlfriends or you get married, this is going to happen, bro.
Wow. So, but apart from your father and apart from family influences, when you meet successful, influential people, what do you firstly, are you conscious that I want to learn something from this person when you're meeting them?
So, Parth, I'll name a few people who have had great influences in my life and those interactions. And I'll tell you why I don't meet them with the idea of learning. Because those lives and those humans are such, the minute they walk into that room or the minute you walk into their room or their space and you interact and you have just a slight conversation, that will leave a long-lasting impact of your life, and you will automatically learn from, in a lot of different ways from them. I was building Kamalam here, the headquarters of the ruling party, and I have seen the then Chief Minister and now the most powerful Prime Minister, the Honorable Prime Minister of our country. He even then had the same kind of aura and the same kind of security, and he was the most powerful Chief Minister that the country had ever seen. And yet he used to come to this place, being the party headquarters, as like I'm going to home. And he would come there at various times and at various situations without any social, just because he always said that I'm coming to my house. So no matter what stage they reached, they always knew that where the roots are, how they are married, they are swearing by the party that they belong to. And when they come there, they actually come as Karyakartas. What bigger lessons you need from people like them? And I still remember when he was already declared the Prime Minister candidate, and that's when the headquarters was opened here. And that day during the opening ceremony, all my labours, as we were building that, the contractors and the sweepers and everyone, were asked by him to come at the steps of this entrance steps of Kamalam building. And all he did at his level, even after being declared the Prime Minister candidate in 2014, he went and sat in between them and said, let's click this picture because these are the real pillars of whatever the party is and today the headquarters that has been created.
How amazing.
And your dad has had various interactions with him and how he respects, and the kind of bond that they share with each other. So, several incidences that your father's also shared me and so many others we know. So these are people who teach us in various ways. We just have to keep our eyes and ears open. And you start constantly learning at various steps about them. We all get so stressed, with slight challenges that come in our day-to-day life. And I remember, and I know how my day passes by with all those things. Imagine the person has an entire world towards him, and the entire country of 130 billion people wants to meet him, wants to talk to him, wants to criticize whatever vision that one person is trying to bring the entire country to a world superpower. And yet he does work in his own pace and meets everyone he can, and yet takes the country forward every single day. What more lessons do you want? I have had great learnings from BK Shivani Didi. I meet her a lot. And the concept of karma, the concept of giving back to society, the concept of peace, the concept of connection with Almighty are the things that I learn constantly from her when I meet her. I meet Brahmvihari Swami. He is one of my most favorite gurus and mentors in my life. And you know how he has shaped the entire Baps community. And I'm blessed to, have these people constantly around me. I've met Sadhguru, I've met Sri Ravi Shankar. They're amazing people.
It's like 2 minutes or 5 minutes of interaction with these people is a masterclass in itself.
Exactly. And I'm blessed of getting this masterclass all through the year, all through my life, and with a lot of personal, warmth that they give me, and their belief in me, their belief in my works that I'm doing. They see what I do for society, they see what I give back to society in whichever way I can, and the kind of wishes and blessings that come from them every time I share whatever I do with these people is phenomenal. Pujya Dwarkesh Lalji Maharaj Shri, with whom we've done a lot of activities at VIPO, every time he meet him, and the kind of smile that he has on his face, how he conveys, his happiness about the work that we do for the community, all the time at his level, he will always tell us one thing: how can I support you in whatever you are trying to do for VIPO? At that level, this is what is teamwork, right?
Yeah.
This is exactly what you should be doing as entrepreneurs, as leaders, and going back to your office and telling your team that, tell us, you guys are supposed to achieve this target. Tell me, how can I help you to do that? So I learn from them constantly. I learn from everyone I meet. My peers, teach me a lot. I meet you and I interact with you, and today we are doing this conversation and 10 other things are going in my mind. How much I'm learning from you. I see your beautiful space and how you have grown as an individual compared to what I saw you 3 years back when you had this idea of doing it. And today you are actually sitting here realizing your dream at this place. So it teaches me a lot on how, people work hard to achieve their dreams, and when they are there, how they shape into it and how they are still working towards getting into bigger and better day by day. So for me, it's learning. And all of you influential people influence my life and my daily growth process in various ways.
Wow. I'm just happy to be in that basket.
You are there, absolutely.
Speaking of influences and me being a filmmaker and a creative producer, I want to take some time off and talk about films that have impacted you. Because if I don't ask you about films, then I won't feel this conversation has fulfilled. So tell me, any film that has left an impact on you, whether it was during your childhood or during college days or starting.
I wouldn't be doing justice if I name films. I'm not such a film buff. I love watching films. I love spending time with myself and being in my room and watching films. But for me, they are my stress busters. So I don't watch any heavy films. I watch very light content all the time. I'm hooked on to Korean content right now these days, and they are the most easiest
Stress
thing
busters.
that you can watch, complete stress busters. I love romantic comedies to watch, and I don't remember a particular film that has got, because for me, once I'm out of that movie theater, I'm out of my room, there are 20,000 other things that take my space, and how it happens the minute I touch my phone, and there is a world that I have to answer back to. So nothing as particular, that something has impacted.
But still, okay, let me reframe the question. What's your favorite film?
I love all the romantic films that Karan Johar and Yash Chopra have made. Those are the films I love. Whenever I'm flying or, I have my time off in the flight, I will watch their content.
Do you listen to Bollywood music as well?
I love Bollywood music. Yeah, so I can tell you that one song that, my dad has grown up with me have asked me to take it as one of the lessons is Sajan Re Jhoot Mat Bolo. That was sung by Raj Kapoor, and Shankar Jaikishan has been music director, and dad is a crazy fan of Shankar Jaikishan beyond words. Yeah. He runs that foundation, and he always tells me that hear every single line of this song, because every time you lie and every time you build up on that story, it will harm you somewhere the other way. It's a lot about karma, the entire song. Na hathi hai, na ghoda hai. यहाँ तो पैदल ही जाना है.
Wow, amazing.
So that's what my focus of life is, that I am not constantly behind, grabbing or earning money all the time. There is a lot to other things also, because I firmly believe that the day I achieve my certain targets of, growing to that level of getting money, post that every other's lifestyle is same at that level. And it is more about how much impact you made इन द सोसाइटी. तो वहाँ जब जवाब देना है तो उसका ज़्यादा जवाब देना है कि कितनी खुशियाँ लाए, कितना इम्पैक्ट किया, कितने लोगों की ज़िंदगी को आपने चेंज किया.
So true, so true. So you must have heard that every individual is a sum of 5 people they hang out with or they spend time with, right? Who are those 5 people for you? or is it 50 or is it 500?
I wouldn't get into names and numbers because it wouldn't be right to all the amazing people that I'm blessed with.
Right.
For me, the number is slightly large, but thankfully I have them, as my strongest pillars of my life, whether it's my friends or the mentors who are slightly elder than, in their age, but who are as good as friends only because we spend a lot of time with them. And my best of friends, everyone has seen them, everyone knows who's my close circle. But these are people who bring a lot of change in me, whatever I am or whatever I learn. Like I said, I learn a lot from my peers because these are real achievers. They have achieved big time in their own field. They are still fighting the challenges and they have bigger goals than wherever they have still reached. They have even bigger goals to reach. So behind them, you get dragged because your goals always looks, smaller, and they always motivate you. They are infectious, so much so infectious that when you were, you are hanging out with them, you see, यार ये लोग तो इतनी बड़ी बातें करते हैं, इतना ज़्यादा इनको आगे जाना है, इतना सब कुछ दिया है तो भी इनको और चाहिए, तो हम तो कुछ नहीं है. Let's try bit more harder. Let's struggle a bit more harder. Let's learn from them how their challenges are and what we can do, what good they are doing in their own company, and how you can do. So we call it in EO as forums. So the kind of forum that I am blessed with in terms of this mentors and friends in my life is my personal board of directors. Whatever I do is after a lot of reflection with them, a lot of brainstorming with them, and when I have those great support from them and when I have their approvals, I go all out.
So there is healthy competition. Can we assume that?
The people I hang out with, I wouldn't say there is healthy competition. There's healthy motivation.
Okay.
There's a great amount of healthy motivation to each other. And if there's anything funny or something wrong that someone has done, we don't miss out a single inch of chance to pull him down or, make fun, as much fun as possible for that person, to tell him that please don't do this again in our most funniest way.
So what do you enjoy doing the most? Interacting with them or traveling with them?
Both, because when you travel, you interact a lot. But yes, if we travel together, there's a lot more interaction, there's a lot more fun. Yeah. And our travels are exactly like Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, And when you asked about films, let me tell you that. So we all love that film together. And we always travel like that. This is our last trip, Let's make the most of it. We go all out when we travel and we create the best of experiences, the best of learning experiences. As you have seen, wherever I travel, I don't miss out to grab the most of those opportunities, meeting as many amazing people of those parts of the particular world as much as I can, meeting our Indian leaders in various parts of the country to see what good we can do for the community that we have in those parts of the country.
Where was the last
in England, in London. I was there last month, and on August 15th, I was there at the Indian Embassy to hoist the Indian flag with a brilliant ceremony. So 75 years of independence in the place which ruled us and gave us freedom, and being in that Indian Embassy to hoist the national flag.
Wow.
What better experience.
Quite an experience. There's something that I'm curious about you is, do you enjoy the fruits of your success?
Yeah, I enjoy them and I celebrate them. But I celebrate with people who are responsible for bringing that success. Because for me, success is very relative. It's in different parts. There are various companies, various group companies that I am heading. So whichever company those initiatives or those success or those milestones are achieved, I celebrate with those people. And I don't miss out on that no matter where I am. Because it is because of them, it's not because of me that success has come. I might have given them the vision, I might have opened the doors, I might have used my network, I might have guided them to that particular place. But I firmly believe that we, at our level, whatever we achieve, is because of the entire structure of the team that works for that particular initiative or the target. And when you achieve that, you need to celebrate it with them.
Wow. So the reason why I asked you this is because I do it, and I have also seen a lot of other people do it, is that they minimize their successes and achievements in order to focus more on their next target.
So you are absolutely right. That's what I have been doing. But I don't let that idea of minimizing the success for me, I do that in my brain. But for others, I make it even bigger so that they are more motivated to do that. But I know, I minimize it because I know that from tomorrow morning I have to run for another battle or another goals, or the vision completely changes. And I still tell so many people I meet, what is your vision? A vision is something that you build for 5 years. Every 5 years, you need to revisit your vision and mission towards life and towards your business or towards anything that you are set out for. But in the fast changing times, things change a lot faster than you expect. And when you keep achieving those milestones, you need to revisit your vision and mission also.
How do you look at this thing called, money doesn't buy you happiness, but it buys you a lot of happiness? Do you agree with that?
So, obviously, I'm no saint to not say that money doesn't buy happiness or a lot of happiness. It does. There's no doubt, because whatever I have dreamt for, whatever I have been thinking to do, just because I'm blessed with whatever I had dreamt, and today, I'm on the path of slowly achieving those dreams one by one, they make me happier. Every time I get something, or I'm able to buy something, or I become capable of enjoying those stuff that we've been dreaming of as kids today, what we call as luxury, I consider myself very blessed and very happy whenever I'm able to do that. But that happiness is not permanent, because what happens as individuals, what happens as entrepreneurs, I'm sure you will also be feeling it. To get your first phone was the biggest dream people could have, and they thought that if I have this phone, I don't need anything else in my life.
Yeah.
And today, when you have new phones coming in every 6 months in your hands, that entire feeling of that dream, and it has turned from a luxury or from a dream to a necessity to have it in your hand. The same is with air conditioning, or the same is with car. So I have realized that these things are temporary happiness. They bring a lot of happiness, like you said, not just happiness, lot of happiness, but it is for that phase of time. Each of us needs to find our own whys and need to understand through that why that what will you do that will bring you everlasting happiness. That will actually bring true happiness and true peace. And if you are able to find those whys of your life and those points that bring you that permanent and everlasting happiness, then you will truly know the meaning of lot of happiness. Because every time you achieve those whys, every time you are trying to walk in that direction, you will actually start feeling a lot of happiness. And that is the real happiness. That is permanent. That is contentment.
Is it fair to assume that for you, the process is more important than the outcome itself?
See, process is very important. Without the right kind of process, right kind of structure, outcome is not possible. And if you break the process somewhere, the outcome may not be permanent. Because I have seen, it's like success has no shortcuts. And it really doesn't have. Sabka dekh liya hai. Jinhone shortcuts liye, jinhone short-term success liye, they are straight, climbing the mountains and रातों रात कहीं आ गए, और 10 दिन के बाद दुनिया उनको भूल जाती है. And we see, right? We have overnight stars, we have overnight famous people these days, we have viral videos, someone being crazy. And after doing that, and after a month, we don't even know where the person is. Yeah. If you have to be permanent, you cannot miss out on the process. If you want yourself to shine long term, you cannot miss out on the process. The outcome is absolutely going to be amazing if you followed the right process. There's no way you're going to miss out on the outcome. It could be delayed. देर है, पर अंधेर तो 100% नहीं if the process is being followed.
How do you plan your day? Because meeting so many people and doing your work at the same time is not easy. And you travel a lot. So how do you get things done? What is your day like?
So Parth, all of us are blessed with the same 24 hours in our life.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking this.
It's about how you structure it and how you prioritize it and what is the priority of your life. Like I have been saying and I keep on saying all the time, and I practice what I say. For me, achieving certain amount of monetary success or running behind the goals in terms of my companies which get monetary success is a limited time that I devote. It's till 4 o'clock. Once that 4 p.m. is done, I will try and avoid as many of work meetings, as many of work calls if possible. And then my time is devoted towards the why that brings me happiness. And that is in fact not my time also, because I have so much of commitment, so much of urgent works or things that I need to prioritize in my life and address with people's emergencies, which become my emergency when people come to me every day to seek my support or seek my guidance in whichever way I can in their own problems. Suddenly that situation changes. So I can tell you that my work times could be 10 to 4, but my giving back times or supporting people in their issues or whatever where they need my presence, that time is not 10 to 4. That time is 24 hours a day. That could be in the night, it could be in the day. I don't have control of my time because my friends, people whom I know, or absolutely unknown people can get connected to me any time of the day and could seek my support for their urgency, whatever it is. And that's how it's become. Now, I try and structure it as much as possible to gain maximum productivity out of it, because I firmly believe it's not about the number of hours that you put in. The productivity in your particular task or whatever you're trying to do depends on how you do it and how you structure it, and that the kind of team that you have who understand you well, who understand the urgency of those targets well, who are with you. So it's a combination of a lot of things to become more productive. But beyond that productiveness that I use in my business, most of the time goes in the various ways that I'm trying to impact the society or bring more smiles or help people or bring some small change that I get. And that brings me a lot of happiness.
But what is it inside you that is it like sheer love for human beings and people at large that makes you do all the things that you do? You go out of the way to help people? Because I have met people and I have heard their stories and how you have impacted their lives. So what is it about people, or what is it about society that you love so much?
So the first thing is I can't say no to anyone. The second is I can't see suffering. And whether it could be anything, whether someone is struggling for a break in the career, or someone is facing some personal challenge, or some things are holding up because of things beyond someone's control to progress in life, or there's an emergency, or there's a medical emergency, or could be anything. I cannot share those intricate details because I also don't know what tomorrow someone might come up with expecting some kind of support from me. So वो तो मेरे से नहीं हो सकता है, वो मेरे हाथ में नहीं है, but मैं नहीं देख सकता हूँ किसी का suffering. And if I'm able to impact that in some way, किसी को थोड़ा भी मदद कर सकता हूँ, थोड़ा भी change ला सकता हूँ, तो उससे ज़्यादा जो खुशी मिलती है ना, उससे शायद कोई और चीज़ में मुझे नहीं मिलती है. And I actually, you can see it in my face if I'm able to achieve it, or if I'm able to help someone or achieve their dreams, और किसी को कुछ ऐसा कर दिया जिसकी उसकी ज़िंदगी में एवर लास्टिंग डिफरेंस आ गया, तो वो जो खुशी मिलती है ना, वो कुछ ज़्यादा ही अंदर. I cannot describe in words. I can only say that is the why of my life.
Is it more fulfilling than any other?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. For me, it is.
No, so I want you to explain me this, that why is it important for entrepreneurs or creators or even artists to just love people, just interact with people, and it just fulfills you, or it's a different learning experience altogether?
So I think you've asked a brilliant question. This is the most basic thing that each of the creators or entrepreneurs or professionals should be doing. Because they are at a stage where they have already learned and they have reached that stage. All they can give back to society or these people who could bring in the change is their time. आप जो सीखे हो वही आपको किसी को गाइड करना है. आपको कुछ देना और नहीं है, आपका समय देना है. तो आपके समय में से अगर आपने अपने पर्सनल ग्रोथ के बदले किसी और के ग्रोथ में थोड़ा भी टाइम दे दिया और वो आदमी ग्रो हो गया, तो उससे तो ज़्यादा आपको क्या खुशी मिलेगी? मुझे तो बहुत मिलती है. आई डोंट नो व्हाई वुड पीपल नॉट डू इट. But if we want a better society, if we want a better community, if we want the world to progress in the right direction, then it can only happen through this. And trust me, आज हमारा जो भी समाज है, because the government can do very less in terms of, except bringing in the vision. The government cannot go door to door and keep the samaj together or the society together. Today, India is surviving is because of this entire feeling of so many people trying to give back to society. Their contribution is equally good as human beings. They might not be recognized at every stage. They are the unsung heroes who bring our country together, who hold our country together, who hold our samaj together, the society together. Otherwise, it would be a chaos. And how much can a government do in a country of 130 billion people? It's not possible for them to handle it. ये तो ऐसे लोग हैं समाज में जो इसको बांध के रखते हैं और ये पूरी व्यवस्था को आज चला रहे हैं.
So talking about entrepreneurs, what is entrepreneurship and what it is not?
Entrepreneurship is taking a problem, bringing a solution to that unsolved problem. And when you have that invention or a solution or an innovation in your hands, if you are smart enough, you create the right kind of business out of it, make it into a productive business, make it into a consumable business, and that product which has solved people's problem is now a business, and then you are an entrepreneur. एक चीज़ है जिसकी दुनिया को ज़रूरत है, वो अगर आपने ढूंढ ली और उसका बिजनेस कन्वर्ट कर दिया तो आप एंटरप्रेन्योर हो और आपसे ज़्यादा सक्सेसफुल कोई और नहीं हो सकता है फिर.
But you put it so easily.
But imagine, everything around you, right? कभी ना कभी दुनिया को इसकी ज़रूरत थी. There was someone who invented the TV, who invented the mic, who invented the phone. They created into a consumable product and started a business out of it. And see, today they are billions and millions of dollars of business. What more do you want as entrepreneurship?
What do you really like about the entrepreneur's spirit?
Yeah, I am an entrepreneur every single day. I go out as a startup every single day in my life. Whether it is getting a new project and sitting with my team and planning it, that whatever wrong we had done, आज इसमें ये गलती नहीं करेंगे और इसको ज़्यादा अच्छा करेंगे. Whether it is a new business idea that a startup brings to me, or whether it is creating something, my personal interest in terms of creativity to create something new which can bring a great change in society. I see even my most philanthropical initiatives as an entrepreneur only. It's not because I have to gain something out of it, but अगर वो initiative के पीछे मेरा X amount लाने का target है in terms of the CSR money or donations to achieve that, for me that is an entrepreneurial venture only. और अगर वो achieve कर लिया तो मज़ा आ जाता है. तो I love that entrepreneurial spirit in every small thing that I do. For me, all those things are like a project, and if we successfully achieve them, the high that you get is nothing compared to any other professional job that would bring in my life. That is why I'm an absolute entrepreneur day in, day out. Wow. It's the energy, the spirit, it's infectious.
We often meet people and they say कि अरे वो एक idea नहीं मिल रहा है, entrepreneur तो मुझे भी बनना है, business तो मुझे भी चालू करना है, but I'm not able to find that one idea or one product or one service. But in an entrepreneur's life, or to be an entrepreneur, is it really important to have your own idea? Or you can take someone else's idea and add your skills into it and take it to the next level?
So, no, there is no need of, having your new idea. There are other people who have already invented it. You don't need to go back and reinvent that entire cycle and do it. But yes, to take the same idea, add your own thoughts to it, see how you can bring in the ease of doing that same business in a much better way, make it more viable, offer different kinds of services than what the inventors or other people who had created that idea were, and then present it in a different way to the world, which can attract them to come to you and not go to the people who had invented that idea. Then you can become a successful entrepreneur. You don't need to reinvent the idea. Everyone cannot have ideas, and all those ideas, if they start on implementing every single new idea, then it's not possible for all those people who have invented and tried to come out. सब तो successful हो नहीं सकते हैं. But किसी ने अगर कुछ अच्छी चीज़ की है और उससे और भी ज़्यादा अच्छी बना के कोई अलग तरीके से आप प्रेजेंट कर सकते हो, तो there is a lot of scope. Because there's no one single company, कि for again coming back to the same thing, अगर किसी एक कंपनी ने फ़ोन बनाया था तो कोई और फ़ोन थोड़ी नहीं बना सकता है. There are 100 companies which are making phone. Why each of them are successful and getting their business? Because they are offering something new, something different, something more easier for the user to use. See technology. There are so many people making TV, laptops, this, that, watches, this, that. तो सब entrepreneur है, सब successful companies है, बड़ी companies है, but they all have their USP. Entrepreneurship में सबसे important चीज़ is to have your own USP and master that USP. कि वो अगर चीज़ चाहिए तो किसी और के पास नहीं जा सकते, इसके पास ही जाना पड़े. And when you have that USP in you and you have mastered that art, so you have a great chance of growing in future.
So, like, don't try to do 10 things at a time. Just focus on 2 or 3 things that are required by the time.
I have learned this lesson my own self. I have been trying to do various things at life and various different businesses. I still am doing, but the kind of success that I get in the thing that I know better, which I have been working on for last so many years, and let's say infra, is in our blood. That is the main thing. My maximum time in terms of the business time that I devote in the day goes towards this. If I try and deviate that, then that's a alarming situation. But yes, if I have done that fully during the day and then I have a couple of hours spared, then to divest into something that I'm passionate about or something that I firmly believe where the world is going or the future is going and do smart investments, that's a good choice. But the first, you should always focus on your USP, on your main thing.
But then how do you keep the distractions away? Not the physical distractions. Because as creators, entrepreneurs, we have like 100 things going in our heads.
Schedule them, prioritize them, structure them. And then don't let those distractions come to you when you have scheduled your time for something else. And I am learning that art too every single day. And I also get distracted with tons of things, tons of emergencies, like I said. But I have to learn when I have to disconnect and prioritize. I'm sitting here and, my phone would be buzzing constantly right now. And I would be needed to answer a lot of things at my own workplace or maybe places where I wouldn't know. But right now, this is my priority. And this is where I need to give my 100% to deliver the best I can to bring out the right crux that Unboxed needs. So you have to prioritize it.
If you had to give one advice to your younger self, or when you were starting your career, or when you were in school or something, what would you tell your younger version?
No, enjoy the life the way you have been. I have no regrets.
Oh, how wonderful.
I really have no regrets, Parth. If I go back and see that, I think I have had a fairy tale life. जितने मेरे dreams थे, जो मैंने सोचा था, I have been lucky, touch wood, that God has been kind to make me feel that whatever I dreamt, I have it. आज मेरे goals बदल गए हैं, तो उसमें भगवान कुछ नहीं कर सकता, क्योंकि हम greedy है, as human beings. पर वो time के जो सारे हर एक step पे जो goals आए हैं, वो सारे achieve कर लिए.
Wow. If I have to describe or I would love to make one though, but if I have to make a film on your life or write a synopsis, वो DVD के पीछे जो synopsis होता है, what do you want written on the back of the DVD case?
An aspiring entrepreneur who set out in his journey to bring some change in the world, वो चलता गया और कारवा बनता
गया. Oh, nice. As creators and entrepreneurs, we take a lot from the society or the world we live in. But you're somebody who is constantly trying to give it back or be extremely aware of the privilege that we have and the gratitude that you feel towards our society. Why is it really important to give back?
No one forces you to give back, right? You can keep on taking. But every time I take from society, every time I sit and analyze that मैंने जो सोचा था उससे कई गुना ज़्यादा भगवान ने दिया है, somewhere the society is responsible for bringing that to my life. और अगर मैं अभी नहीं दूंगा तो कभी दूंगा. इट इज़ अबाउट द साइकिल ऑफ कर्मा यार. जो आया है आपके पास उससे कई गुना ज़्यादा देना आपका फ़र्ज़ होता है. तो आई फर्मली बिलीव इन दैट एंड आई एम ट्राइंग टू डू दैट ओनली. और वो देने में भी मुझे ही खुशी मिलती है. मैं फ्रैंकली thank you because I'm sitting with you and I have this opportunity that if people tell me that, oh, you're doing so much for the society and you're doing so much for this and you are selflessly doing this, I said, no, boss, absolutely I'm not doing this selfless thing. There's a huge selfish interest. And I am selfish about my giving back. Why? Because मुझे जो खुशी मिलती है ना, वो कोई चीज़ और नहीं ला सकती इससे जो खुशी मिलती है. किसी की ज़िंदगी में डिफरेंस लाके, किसी की लाइफ इम्पैक्ट करके, किसी का कुछ अच्छा करके जो खुशी मुझे मिलती है ना, वो कहीं नहीं मिल सकती. और 4 दिन अगर कोई काम लेके नहीं आएगा ना मेरे पास, अभी जो मेरी लाइफस्टाइल है, तो उससे मुझे लगेगा कि यार मैंने क्या गलत कर दिया, मैंने किससे एरोगेंटली बात कर दिया, किसी का काम नहीं किया, आई हैव नॉट बीन, तो मेरे लिए वो अनसक्सेसफुल हो जाएगा कि यार मैं किसी का कुछ अच्छा नहीं कर सका. दैट्स वाई पीपल माइट हैव लॉट्स फेट ऑन मी. यार 5 दिन से किसी का काम नहीं आया है, किसी का कुछ अच्छा नहीं किया है. So it is for now my own selfish interest that I feel obliged that I should be doing this for people. I should be giving my 110%. Today God has blessed me with a brilliant network that people would dream of. What I have achieved in life, you called me that यार success क्या है मेरे लिए. तो मेरे लिए success is my network. And that network is today a huge part of the net worth I have in my life. People say your network is your net worth. मेरी में तो actually है today. And you have also known, and so many other people have experienced it, that today I am blessed with doing anything that I need in my life with the help of people, friends, the network that I have across the world. And there are millions of things that this network has helped me achieve, it for me or for people or for my friends or for absolute unknown people. तो अगर आपके पास वो ब्लेसिंग आई है कहीं से जो आपका नहीं था, ये एब्सोल्यूट, ये सोसाइटी ने, सृष्टि ने, भगवान ने क्रिएट करके दिया है आपको, तो उसको आप वापस नहीं दोगे तो फिर आप ऋणी ही रह जाओगे समाज के और भगवान के.
Let's say I'm not good at networking or socializing or interacting with people in general, but we all know that you are a master of that art. How do you do it? Like, give me like 3 pointers if you can.
So the only thing, not the 3 pointers, the only thing a person can increase his network is by the feeling of not gaining out of it. The minute you start doing networking or building on relations without expectation of gaining, आज मैंने आपसे दोस्ती कर ली ड्यू टू वॉट एवर सोसाइटी दैट वी आर कनेक्टेड. अगर मुझे पार्थ से कुछ लेना ही है, वो ही रीज़न से मैंने दोस्ती की, यार कहीं ना कहीं कुछ फ़ायदा हो जाएगा उसके कनेक्शन से, यार उसके आर्ट से, या उससे ये मैं गेन कर लूँगा, वो मैं ले लूँगा, तो ये दोस्ती कभी आगे नहीं जाएगी. Networking can only happen if you selflessly believe in creating relationship for life. And the minute you start creating those selfless bonds, one step at a day, you have a huge network of people who are there day in, day out, and you are there for them day in, day out. And they trust you, you trust them, you build the bond, and you have a large 100 pillars of palace of network for you. And that is beyond any net worth.
Just do it for the fun of it.
Fun of it, because you like meeting people, because you learn from them, but without the selfish idea of gaining anything from them. Learning is fine, because I learn from them every time. I meet new people, I make friends because I love doing that, because I learn from that. They energize me. मेरी एनर्जी कहाँ से आती है, मैं कैसे कर पाता हूँ, तो वो यही सबसे आती है ना. I meet such amazing people every day. They make me learn so many things. They inspire me, they motivate me. तो ये मेरा रिचार्ज है. लोगों को मिलना, उनसे सीखना, उनसे रिचार्ज होना, उनसे मोटिवेट होना. That's how I recharge myself.
When you meet someone for the first time, what is it that you observe or notice?
आदमी कितना सच्चा है. How much truth he has in him. And how much reality he accepts of whatever he is. And if he's true to himself, I don't see anything else.
These are very important points.
Nothing else. He's big, he's small, he's successful, he's unsuccessful, he's a struggler, he's trying to achieve something, he has money, he has no money, don't care. Is he true to himself? Does he accept the reality? Does he have any selfish motives? बस हो गया. और सेल्फिश होना चाहिए तो नो प्रॉब्लम. इफ़ इट टेल्स मी सर मुझे आपसे यही चाहिए, इतना ही चाहिए और इसके लिए मैं आपके कनेक्शन में तो फाइन, मैं दे पाऊंगा तो ग्रेट, नहीं दे पाऊंगा तो मैं आपको बोल दूंगा नहीं दे. पर आदमी सच्चा है यार. आई लव सच पीपल.
So that clarity is also important.
Very important. Very important. And because of that, because that's how who I am. I am very clear. I cut short on conversations because with the limited time that I have in my life, I don't have time. I enter a meeting room and I'm on the point. I will not waste my, कैसे हो सर, क्या था, ये था. I don't have time for that, right? Straight बात, straight मुझे आपसे ये चाहिए, can you give me this? This is what we need to do. That's how I do my business deals. That's how I have conversations. That's how I do my negotiations. That's how I do my mentorship lessons. Everything. Go to the point, do that. If I am true to myself, if I am true to you, you will be obviously true to me.
So is there anything that you have not done and that you really want to do?
I have done whatever I wanted to do, and I'm doing everything that I really want to do. Maybe a few things that I want to do at a particular level, at a particular stage, or through a particular platform, uska time shayad aayega. It might come. And I'll be able to do that also. I have faith.
But can I ask you something? Can you do that for me? Like, why don't you write a book?
Book about me?
No, about from your experiences, from the journey that you have. And
the conversation we had today is brilliant, right?
Yeah.
You can hire a content writer and start writing. And there are 1,000 other experiences that I will narrate to them and they can write. And we'll make a book out of it. I don't mind. It could be your concept.
Yeah, because that is something that I really want to see.
Me writing a book. There's a long way to go, bro. There are so many experiences which I am building every single day. They are not stopping. And each of those experiences which you might see out there on my social media or might not see because there are 100 other things happening behind that also needs to be covered. So why would you miss out on the book by writing it so early?
So my next question is, like, world is changing rapidly and we have to adapt. It's like adapt or die, right? Innovate or die. What is it about, like, 5 years down the line, things are going to be different, 10 years, absolutely different. What is it about the future that really excites you about entrepreneurship or industry or technology and how things are going to merge?
Oh, I am a very, excited kid when it comes to technological innovations. I'm still a very small kid. I get very fascinated with technology innovations. And I know where the world is going. Recently we've seen that Japan yesterday launched a flying bike.
Yeah.
Right? And today that flying bike may be 5 crore, 6 crore rupees of worth. But you and me both know that it could very soon pop down crazily once a mass production happens and becomes affordable for each of us. So imagine we are sitting here doing this and boom, beaches, someone is flying out in his balcony. So all these things really fascinate me. और वो होने वाला है. Whatever we've been seeing in the movies, they are not just visions or dreams that some director or someone might have seen. We are going to be in that kind of world. Having said at the same time, Parth, we all speak about it, but we don't understand the kind of harm that we all are doing with industrialization in the world. And that has been shown to us. If we don't learn from the lessons that last 2 years have taught us, we will not be bringing a great world in front of us. With all these technological changes, all these industrializations, all this amazing amount of new things coming up, each of this needs industries. Each of this needs a lot of development. Each of this would need a lot of rural spaces and the untouched spaces being covered somewhere or the other way. And the kind of green cover or the water cover that the world is having will be depleted some or the other way. And if we don't understand it now and don't create it the way the world and the environment would need, if we try and disrupt the ecosystem of environment in some other way, it is going to come back to us as human beings. The world and the ecosystem and the environment works a lot on the principle of karma than anything else in our own life.
So true.
So we must understand that and do our responsibility as human beings too.
Out of your business activities, out of your philanthropic activities, what is something that you really enjoy doing?
Uh, Obviously, the first thing is whatever half an hour, 30 minutes that I get to be home, spend time with Prayan and spend time with my parents and Purva and how we spend as family is the most important, the special part of day, because how we all come back home with all the, and how we get, relieved from everything, all the baggages that are there. That is something that is very special. And like I say, whenever I meet someone in a day where I could bring some change in that some person's life, if I am able to do that in a particular day, that is something very important. And I would love to go back and share that with my family. I might not share my business successes with my family, but if I am able to impact one life also or bring some change or किसी में कुछ ज़्यादा एक smile भी कहीं ला दी है किसी की life में, then I would be very happy to share that with my family. And that's my most special part of the day.
And there is something that just hit me. How did you find your look? Were you conscious about okay, these are the certain clothes that I want to wear, or this is something I really like?
I love dressing up, but I'm trying to be as casual as possible now during the daytimes, and evenings are somewhere where I would love to dress up. I'm always very particular about the stuff that I wear, about the things that I carry, and that's something that I really like doing. And I firmly believe that an appearance is something that any entrepreneur or any professional should always look for, because those are the first 3 seconds when you walk into the room. Someone would recognize or feel comfortable,
So first impressions are important.
Are important, absolutely are important. I love blazers, I love Modi jackets, and I love kurtas.
Nice. Sir, Chief, as I call you, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for your time. And like I said,
thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey, your dream, and once again getting me to this such a beautiful place.
You have been very kind towards me. You have been like a mentor, and I am so grateful for that. And whenever something good happens, you are somebody who pops in my head, and I'm like, I want to share this with you.
But whatever path you've been doing, and this particular format of bringing out stories of different people from different spheres itself is a huge seva to the community. And the reason I say seva is because out of the conversation that you and me do, or you will be doing with other people, some life might be triggered. There could be some spark in someone's life, some learning in someone's life, which could change it in a way that you and me wouldn't even know. Yeah. And after years, we might meet someone, because it happens to me, that, oh, I heard you this, and then I did this in my life, and this is how my life has changed. And I wouldn't even know. And the kind of happiness that brings to me. So it is all thanks to you today, that today whatever conversation might go out, from what we've done, and someone's life might change, then it's all credit to you for bringing that out to society.
No, I'm thankful for that you gave me this opportunity to interact with you. And like you said, just making that one tiny little difference somewhere, and it's so much fulfilling than anything else. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you very much.
Looking forward to more collaborations and more learnings and more experiences with you.
At different places.
At different
venues, different offices of Unboxed. Let's be the top of the top.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, team. Thank you. My experience today with Parth and his brilliant office here, and this conversation was completely mind-blowing, and probably one of the best candid conversations that I have had. I have never shared so much of intricate details about my journey, what I do during the day, and I felt as if I am revisiting my entire life on how my journey has been, what I do during the day, and what my why is and what brings me happiness. All credit to Parth for bringing out all the most unsaid secrets or views of my own life to this stage, and giving me this platform to interact with you all in such a brilliant way. I would suggest and request you all to subscribe to this channel that Parth and his entire team of Talk of the Town has been bringing. This content that he's trying to produce is so amazing, and so much of learning will be provided through these stories and inspiring motivational topics that he covers through each of these people who are doing great in their own field. That is something that the society really needs, and he's doing his bit. And I think the only bit that he requests for all of us to do is like, share and subscribe. See you all.